Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
I'm not exactly dressed in my finest today, but there is a really good reason for that. I'm going to get down and dirty on today's Go Island. Hey, Derek, where's my gloves?
There you are.
Ah, thanks. On today's show, the longest ultimate frisbee game, proud to call Canada home, and shaving a haircut the old-fashioned way, all in the next 30 minutes. Today on Go Island, I am at Maffeo Sutton Park in the City of Nanaimo, and I am going to be getting my hands dirty doing some weeding as I find out about the city gardeners. There's 3, and some part-time people as well, who are responsible for maintaining about 75 parks in our beautiful city. That more in today's Go. Meanwhile, we find out about the ultimate frisbee game that's been going on across Canada. One session was played here in Nanaimo. Jocelyn Matwee has more. Today on Go Island, I'm learning what it takes to be a city gardener here in Nanaimo, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Gail Pasaluco, who is the horticulture superintendent for the City of Nanaimo. And you're going to put me to work. I got some weeding to do, not just my own at home, but in all of these parks here. So
Annette,
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming here today. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little safety gear on, as safety is really important with our work crews.
Okay.
And I have some very special tools I'd like you to have today that our landscape horticulturist is going to show you how to use some of these.
Okay, so safety gear. I'm now dressed in even more finery.
That's right.
I've got my gloves. I'm
Lovely bright colors.
yeah, thanks for the gloves. They fit perfect, by the way. These are pretty nice.
We have a lovely little secateurs pruner for you, lovely little weeding tool for you.
Okay, secretary pruner, weeding. So before I get in the dirt with these and do my fair share, just tell me a bit about the horticulture program here for the City of Nanaimo, Gail.
See, we have, I think I have the best job in the City of Nanaimo, and I work with the most fabulous people. I'm so proud of the work they do for the City of Nanaimo, and we're going to see a bit of one garden that we have, Maffeo Sutton Park, with our landscape horticulturist Susan Zarek, and the fabulous innovative work that Susan's doing. We have about 75 parks that our actual horticulturists will visit in a week run sort of thing. We have a lot of our medians, we have contractors that look after those. Our neighborhood grass cutting parks, we have contractors that look after those. Our beautiful hanging baskets, we have a watering contractor that looks after that. But all our downtown parks, everything you see in the downtown Nanaimo, the City Hall Gardens, Bowen Parks, Bevan Parks, it's all done by our very, very talented staff, who I'm so proud of.
That's amazing that you figure that there's the 3 that are the full-time ones that are responsible in a weekly period of rotation, and this starts way back in March because our climate's so mild. So there's an awful lot of work to do. Just a couple more quick facts from you is talking about, you said something like 300 hanging baskets?
Yes.
So all the plants that you see, does the city contract and get those out from somewhere, or do you have a garden somewhere that you grow them to?
We contract that out with, every year we tender out our annual bedding plants, so that's they grow them for us and then our staff plants them out. So this year we put in 17,000 annual plants, which our staff, I'm so proud to say, did it in record time. They did the plants in 2.5 weeks, which was just astounding.
It is astounding.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of this work, of course, starts way back in early spring, March, but we are fast approaching Canada Day, and Kate Bergen had a chance to speak with some people who are not from Canada, but are proud to call Canada their home. And I'm going to hit the weeds in a second here. Be sure to tune in to Shaw TV on Monday, July 1st for both national and regional Canada Day specials. I'm at Maffeo Sutton Park in the City of Nanaimo, and I am getting my hands dirty, learning how to be a gardener on today's Go Island for the city, responsible for 75 parks. Susan Zarek, any tricks for pulling out this blackberry without puncturing my pretty little gloves?
No tricks, just dig it straight out as far down as you can.
All right. Ow! That did hurt. All that and more on today's
Blackberries
Go.
are very angry.
Still ahead today on Go Island, hot towels and straight razor shaves, and setting the scene for the arts on the island. Still to come today on Go Island. You're watching Go Island, and today I'm down at Maffeo Sutton Park, and I'm working with some of the city gardeners. And Susan Zarek is a landscape horticulturist. She is one of 3 responsible for about 75 gardens, which is an amazing number. And you're going to tell me what your typical day is. So thank you for letting me play with you and clean up.
Thanks for your help.
You're welcome. What is a typical day for a city gardener, Susan?
A typical day, we start from our parks yard at about 7 a.m. and we gather all our equipment right there as much as we can. We try and figure out our day beforehand, and then we head out to the parks, and usually it's just usual maintenance of litter picking, and if there's any debris in the park, just making sure that's clean and tidied up before the park patrons get here. And then usually my set tasks that I would like to accomplish that day.
And those are, like today, we're sitting in one of the garden beds here at Maffeo Sutton, so we're actually going to be starting to clean up some of the stuff that's finished blooming, like the daffodils, and we've got some type of clover here, I guess, and these are the ones that are weeds that you have me pulling out today?
That's right.
Okay,
there's
so
plenty
I'm
of
start
those.
Pulling these, but do you want to get the roots out on this, or just kind of pull them out?
On this particular weed, yes, you'd like to get as much of the roots as possible. They can regrow just from a small piece of root in the ground, so that makes it a very challenging weed.
Okay.
The name of this weed is oxalis, and it's pretty prominent in a lot of our garden beds. So
that and dandelions and everything else I like to grow here. So
right.
To become a landscape horticulturist, Susan, how much training do you have to go through before you take on this kind of a job?
I went to college and I got a two-year diploma in horticulture, and then before I started this job, I had about 5 to 6 years of working experience in the gardens before I got this job.
That's pretty cool. Some people, they absolutely hate gardening, hate doing the weeding in their own garden, and other people, they get into like a zen moment. Do you ever find yourself in that, Susan?
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep working on this garden here with Susan, and we'll see how much we can get through today. But even people sometimes need to get a bit of pruning and a clipping of sorts. Paul Baustein down in Victoria gets an old-fashioned makeover. This weed is well rooted. I think I need some help. You're watching Go Island. I'm down at Maffeo Sutton Park, and I'm learning how to be a city gardener. There are 3 who manage and take care of about 75 parks here in the city of Nanaimo, looking after the weeds, the flowers, all kinds of things, but I desperately need help with this one. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one in a few minutes, but in the meantime, Jose Arujo tells us what's happening with the arts on Vancouver Island. So Susan, I guess a lot of keeping things fresh in all of the parks has to do with these things called what are they?
Secateurs.
Secateurs, better known as pruners. But so tell me a bit of the strategies involved in making things look so beautiful.
Well, we do a lot of pruning and deadheading of our flowers. Here's some roses that we can start deadheading here. Once the flowers are spent, if you deadhead them out, then that'll encourage new flower growth. So that's a part of keeping things fresh as well, and a lot of weeding and cultivating of beds.
A lot of weeding. Okay, I'm just going to pull this one out here because I see it, and I know this one will come out fairly easy. But how many hours go into, cutting all of these deadheading these flowers? In all the parks.
Many hours, many hours. It's hard to count. But this is one bed of roses, and I probably have about 8 to 10 of them to do still in the park. So this could keep us busy for at least the morning, and then.
Okay, we can keep working on this, but while we're working on it, talk a bit more about it. And that, I guess some of the strategies too in keeping everything looking beautiful is knowing what kind of flowers and plants work here in Nanaimo. So tell me what you know about that.
Well, we like to use a lot of native plants because this is their environment, so they're going to do best in our conditions. Any sort of this rose in particular is we know is pretty assertive, so it will cover a lot of the ground, which will inhibit weeds. Make our job of weeding a little bit easier.
It's got like a wild rose kind of plant.
That's
so
right.
yeah, I see a couple of things in here. And I guess also too, I mean, I know there's a couple of raindrops that are starting to come down on us now, but in the summertime we don't have as much. So how do you maximize the rainfall and that to keep these plants healthy?
Well, all of our these garden beds are irrigated, so we don't worry too much about the rain. That's never really a problem here. In the summer months, the really dry summer months, our irrigation is going full tilt, so there's no worry about that.
Okay, but keeping the moisture in the gardens and trying to keep the weeds at bay. I mean, we're pulling weeds this morning, but there's obviously strategies for that. So
Yes, we use a lot of mulch in the fall. The leaves on the trees we collect. My goal is to collect all the leaves in the park, and we mulch those up into a finer leaf, and then we use them as mulch in our garden beds. So this covers the soil as well, which prevents weeds, but it also adds a lot of nutrients back into the flower beds, which will help the flowers out as well.
all right, it's been very interesting finding out about the city's gardening program, and I can't imagine, every day of the week going out and weeding and pruning. I mean, it's enjoyable, but you really got to love what you're doing, and obviously you do, and the other people here as well. Thank you for taking time with us today on Go Island, learning about the city's gardening program and how they keep it beautiful here in Nanaimo. Thank you for watching Go Island.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.